I live? Okay. Are we live? Yeah? Yeah, we're live. We are live, okay. Excellent. Oh, it's happening. Okay. Oh, what's going on here? Okay. All right. Hello and welcome. Let me just adjust this microphone a little bit. So I'm speaking into it. Hello, Boogaloo. Hello to Biscuit Cream. Joseph Neal, hello. So, we have a new handheld, and this microphone's been very unruly today. I just need to make sure it's all sorted. This is the ANBERNIC RG35XXSP. And I got this, I actually got this 2 days ago, but there were some issues, and there was some other stuff I had to do, so I wasn't able to stream immediately with it, but here we are. So I need to get this in, make sure I'm in, because this is quite a it's a very different handheld from the other ones, because usually we have a vertical, right, and we can fit it all in the camera and stuff, but this is actually a bit different, isn't it? It's a completely new form factor I'm playing on this stream with the clamshell design, and also it's ANBERNIC's first clamshell. There have been clamshells before, like from Powkiddy, but this is, I think, a very good one. This is a very good one. I haven't actually tried the Powkiddy one, but obviously I've played with the Game Boy Advance SP, which is what this is modelled off. Crimson Striker, welcome. Val G, hello. So sorry, this microphone is really annoying. It's becoming really annoying for me. I don't know what I did, but I moved something around and then it's really naff. What have I done? What have I done today? Okay, sorry. Yeah, so let's just get started here. All right, that's better. It might be because of this handheld. It's like, it's a different form factor. I'm holding it differently. I'm just I've just got a different way of using it. So you want the blue? It's stunning, Val G. Okay, yeah. I mean, this comes in transparent blue, transparent black, retro, which is actually the one in the menu here, and then silver, which is this one. So for me, the silver one is the most nostalgic to me because it's quite, it's closer to the original GBA SP colors. I think they should have maybe gone for the actual, the real colors. Like they could have brought a completely black one. That might have been cool. But the silver one for me is the most nostalgic for sure, because it's really like you play on this and then you think back to the GBA days. It really do, because I think I might have had a black one though. I don't remember if I had a silver one or a black one, but I definitely had silver something. It be a GB micro. I think I definitely had a GB micro one in silver. So we have a few questions already, which is all welcome. And the first question here is, can we add MuOS? So I have MuOS on this SD card. So at some point we will try some MuOS. This SD card is from Shane Burton. So thank you to Shane Burton. I don't actually have any games on this, but at least I can show you MuOS working. H Wells, I almost called you HD Wells. Welcome to the stream. Crunchy Tire, hello. I need to make sure I put this in the right, because I'm holding like my natural my natural way of holding it is kind of up here. I need to make sure I'm a bit down here for this handheld, because I'll be off screen. This is going to be a longer stream, so don't worry about yeah, we're just going to chill out a bit, because I know there's there's been a lot of reviews and quickfire videos about this, but this is really your opportunity, or anyone in the chat, just to ask questions about this device, and then we'll have a little bit of a surprise at the end of this stream, and then a bit later on, when I've had some dinner, I'll do another stream. So there'll be 2 streams on this today, and that stream will be a little bit different, but you'll find out how different. So let's look at the stock firmware. I'm sure you've all familiar with the stock firmware. You've got Game Rooms, which is the simplified interface to use the emulator. You can just go in there and then look at your list of games. You've got RA Game, which is the more complicated and complex, advanced way of launching your games. You've got your favorites, you've got history, what games you played before. You've got a search function, which is actually quite good on ANBERNIC firmware now. You've got something called App Center, which is a bit new. You've got like a music player, video player, ebook reader, file manager, expert, which I've not actually used yet. And then there are little ANBERNIC apps for tuning your emulation experience. So you typically go into apps if you want to like turn off the bezels or change the shaders, things like this. And then you've got a settings menu here, which is just for turning on your Wi-Fi, turning off your Wi-Fi, checking the storage space, lock screen, the brightness, stuff like that is in settings. So already we've got loads of different software out for this. So this, if you think this is a bit, some people don't like the original firmware, and sometimes the original firmware gets bashed a bit, and I think that they've got to a good point with the firmware now. So, but if you don't like this, there was a question earlier about MuOS. MuOS is available, and I believe that Cannoli, another custom firmware, will be available, and also MinUI, I think, will probably be available because it's out for the other devices in this series. Okay, so that's the software experience, as it were. So we've got plenty of systems that it supports. I'll go through that as well. Let me talk about the hardware, because we're getting a few hardware questions here. Yep, MuOS Beans is available, so we'll look at MuOS Beans later on. So let's talk about the hardware. The hardware obviously is just like the Game Boy Advance SP. I believe it's slightly bigger. I don't have a Game Boy Advance SP to hand, but I think that there's some other videos that have done comparisons with the actual hardware, but I believe it's a bit bigger and slightly thicker, but I think that it's not that different in terms of how I remember it anyway. Like if you lost your Game Boy SP or something and then somebody gave you this as a gift, it'll be awesome, because this, as soon as I had this in my hands, I thought I thought that this, I've got the modernized version of the GBA SP, and it's got a good screen in it. It's got a in terms of brightness, like it's not as bad as the the older GBA SP. The first release of the GBA SP had quite a dim screen. It's more closer to the it's an IPS display, so it's it's a modern display. So obviously the main showcase feature of this device is the flip. So you've got a flipping. Oh, I've just pressed. Have I just pressed reset? You've got a flipping. Oh, have I just turned it off? All right. You've got a flipping screen. The way this is hooked in is there's like a screen cable here, which connects the system board to the screen here, and then obviously this flips out in the traditional Game Boy SP style. You've got these like metal hinges here, so there's actually some caps here, which hide these metal like bolts, and then this flipping motion, it's quite I think when you first get the device, it's actually a little bit creaky. So it's not like super. It's a little bit firm and a little bit. I don't know how to say it. It's a bit more tighter than you'd imagine. It's not like really, it doesn't flop around. I know like some flip phones back in the day, some Samsung phones, or even those older ones, those older styles phones. They didn't, you could flip them, just by flicking it with your hand, right? This one, I don't think you can. Oh, you can a bit, but or maybe you can. But it's a bit more. There's a bit more tension in the hinges, I think. So I think it's nice. It's nice that they did that. It does creak a little bit, I'd say. So that'll be a small complaint that I would have when you're bringing it. When you're flipping it out, I do feel a little bit of creaking, and it's not like it's not terrible, but there is a little bit of creak and a little bit of give there, and that is. It's a little bit of a it's a slight black mark, but it's not it's not unusable or anything. So a little bit creaky, but apart from that, the motion is very smooth. You just come out like this, and then there's a lock there. So then there's a certain point where it sort of locks in, like there, and then it will stay at that angle. So I'm not sure what it is inside the mechanism, but there will be like a specific angle where it locks in, and that to me feels very, very much like the original Game Boy SP. I probably need to compare the angle to a real one. Maybe you guys will have multiple GBA SPs, and you can that the exact angle, but that to me feels very natural. It feels very much like the previous one, for sure. Right, so that's the flipping mechanism. And I think that I think a nice touch here is they've replicated the little like stoppers here. So you've got like two, or you got one stopper here which is not really doing anything. I think it's just there to, like keep the controls from marking the screen and something like that. And then you've got actual, or maybe that's there for hiding a screw. I guess that might be there for hiding a screw. And then you've got some actual stoppers here which do make contact with the case when you close it. Oliver Mires, hello, welcome to the stream. We're looking at a new handheld today, which is the ANBERNIC RG35XXSP. Right, so you've got that silver trim around the edge of the case, which looks quite nice. The bezel on this top screen, or this area, is it's actually okay. I think it's not as it doesn't go right to the edge, which is a little bit of a it's not too bad actually. I don't mind it that it goes it goes as much as it were. So I just maybe put a background. Let's put that. No, maybe that's a bit hard to see. Okay, these backgrounds are a bit dark. Maybe when we're in game, we'll be able to see that. But there is a black edge. You can probably see it here. There is a black edge around the screen, and that's okay. I think most handhelds have a black edge here, and they're not too. It's not too intrusive. Okay, Bentendo, that's a good. Thanks for that comment. I'm just reading the chat here. He's saying Bentendo is saying that the angle is pretty much spot on, so that's good. That's good to hear. Right, I know I'm going really slowly, but I'm trying to give you as much detail as possible, rather than the other videos, which are probably a bit more, probably a bit more quickfire. I'm just trying to give you as much detail as possible about this device, so you can decide whether you want to buy it or not. This device is on a pre-order discount at $59 at the moment, and I believe that pre-order discount expires in about just under 48 hours. So I'm going to try and give you as much information as you can, and try and inform your purchasing decision if you're interested in this device. I think a lot of people will be buying this device, to be honest, because I've already heard that they're selling a lot of them. All right, so enough about the flipper. the flipping motion. I'll talk a bit more about this screen. So this screen is a 3.5-inch display from corner to corner. It's a 640 by 480 resolution screen. So that's 480p, of course, and it's quite good. Like in terms of sharpness, in terms of contrast, brightness. I will be using it on max brightness for all of the stream. So this is as bright as it gets. My camera is a little bit, I'd say, unforgiving in terms of like the contrast on the screen, so it may appear a little bit darker. And I do have quite a bright light shining onto this little surface here, so you might be you might feel that it's a little bit, might be a little like a touch too dark sometimes, but that's because of my studio setup, or my not really studio, but my tables, my table setup. Right, so I feel like the screen gets as bright as the other ones. I mean, I'm sure they're using the same screen, to be honest. Like I can't see much of a difference. For example, this is a RG35XX Plus. I think the screen is pretty, it's pretty much identical in terms of sharpness, colors. I think I have a different theme on here actually, so it might be a little bit grey in the background, but in terms of sharpness, colors, it seems very, very similar to me. Also, I have the RG35XXH. This one, again, I think they're using exactly the same screen. They've just bought like a ton of these screens. It looks identical to me, like in terms of the contrast, brightness, etc. Except you're getting a different logo at the start here. So Oliver Merez and also Boogaloo. I'll be talking about the controls in a moment, so don't worry. Remo Retro Game, CFW. Yep, we'll talk about CFW as well. If we don't get time, I mean, I'm going to be going for about 2.5 hours, 2 hours for this one, and then after I have a break, I'll be coming back later on for another stream. So we'll be doing at least 4 or 5 hours of stream on this device today. So don't worry. If I don't immediately get to your questions. Another device that we have here is the RG28XX. So again, you have the same operating system, same firmware. I feel like the 28XX screen is actually pretty good. When it first came out, I believe the original stock firmware wasn't actually setting the brightness to maximum. So there was an extra level of brightness that you could get to in the custom firmwares of the RG28XX, and I believe that the stock firmware now has that. So the brightness is actually slightly improved here as well, and the brightness is, I think, on par with the SP here. So all of the screens on the XX series have been tuned quite well, I think, and they're pretty good. Compare with the H. Okay, Iron Inert is asking me to compare with the H version vertically. So yeah, that's it here. So it's a bit hard for me. Maybe I can just push that down a bit. So we'll have that view here with the H. I'll tell you what. I'll do a comparison with all of them. So here's a H together with the SP. So vertically. So you can kind of see the size of it. That's with the angle. So I'm just going to push it down, and then so you get a bit more of an idea of how big it is. Yep, and then I'll give you the thickness as well. So that's the thickness of the unit here on the H, and then the thickness closed. And then we'll do the same thing for the plus. So here's the plus. The plus is the GB one. So let's look at this. And then let's just push this back a bit. And then here's the thickness. Oliver Mirez, it is the time is correct on here, so it's 4:21. So I'm in the same time zone as China. Yeah, so then let's closed. So it's actually quite, yeah, it is a little bit thick actually, closed. It is a little bit thick. And then here's a 2.8. Here's an RG35XXSP. It's 2 a.m. Oh no. I think the UK people are probably just waking up. So the 2.8 really is it is quite cute. And then here's the thickness. And then let's close it. So here's the thickness there. Let's get something else, which is probably iron in it. I'll let you know about the buttons and the controls in a moment. Okay, Bentendo, for you it's going to be how the buttons and the D-pad compare to the non-flip models already in market at the same cost. Yeah, you know what? To be honest, the cost, I'm really surprised they got this under $60. I'm really surprised. 65 without the discount, and then 59 with the discount. I think that this it's quite compelling for that price. Right, so here we have a Miu Mini Plus, just to give you an idea of some competitors, let's say. So Miu Mini Plus, yeah, it's like that. And then we have something a bit bigger here. So this is the RG28. Sorry, the RGB20SX. So this is quite a big guy. It's got a very different screen as well. Okay, so I do have a lot of handhelds around. So if you want to ask, if you want a quick comparison during the stream, then you're very welcome to ask for one. Okay, let me just check the chat a little bit. Make sure I'm catching everything. Oliver Mirrors, no, that was not the max brightness. Yeah, sorry, that's a little bit unfair on the Pow Kitty. The Pow Kitty gets very bright actually. Let me just sort that out. I just installed the latest Rocknix version on this, so I think everything just reset. But the brightness actually on this device is quite good. The brightness is quite good on the Pow Kitty. It's very good actually. Because the screen is very good on the Pow Kitty. Okay, Val G, you love the blue. That's cool. I kind of like the blue one, but I'm not a big. I don't like colourful ones. Alright, let me just. Okay. Right. So I know we're going slow, but yeah, let's keep going. Okay, so let's read the chat here. It's 1 a.m. California. Okay, cool. All right, Oliver Mirrors. That's cool. I mean, I think this is going to be a very popular handheld. I'll probably say that a lot today, but yeah, it's going to be a very popular one. It's just incredibly. It's very true to the original device, which they're trying to get. They're trying to get you on, get on it. Okay, MuOS, you can play Half-Life 2 and Doom 3 on this console. Yep, Portmaster is available for MuOS and Cannoli, yes. So that will be cool. I do want to test that because Iron Init, the Portmaster, requires the Portmaster requires Wi-Fi. So we've got that available for everything except for the 28XX. I think 28XX you can do Portmaster, but you have to do it in quite a weird way. Maybe you have to plug in like a USB hub or something, or an Ethernet adapter. All right, okay, so I'm going to talk about let's talk about the spec. So the spec, as most people know, the same CPU. So the 35XX range, all of these that I just showed before, the H, the Plus, and the 28XX, they all have the same CPU. They all have the same amount of RAM, which is 1 GB of DDR4. They all have 2 SD card slots. They all use Linux. And then in the case of the SP, it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It only has one USB port, which is the same as the Plus, whereas the H has 2 USB ports here. That's a slight difference. So I don't know if that's going to make a big difference, to be honest. I mean, if you're plugging in controllers to do like game TV streaming or something, then that might make a difference, but not too you know, not a massive difference for me really. They've just combined that port. It has 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which is decent, AC Wi-Fi, and it has what else? Yeah, it has a 3,300 milliamp battery. So we'll see that in a moment. Actually, I do have the screwdriver here at some point, so I'll show you the battery as well. It's very simple to change the battery. If there's any problem with this battery or you need to carry a spare or something, it's just a case of undoing the screw and then taking the battery out, and then there's a cable here. So it's very easy to change the battery. It's not like plug and play, but it's very easy. Mohammed S, welcome back to the stream. All right, let's just check the chat here. Okay, and thanks for that then. So I guess the 28XX, yeah, might be. It's possible to do all that. It's just it's a bit more bit of a pain in the ass. Okay, Iconic, welcome to the stream. All right, let's get into talking about this device a bit more then. So I'm sure you all know about it already. The D-pad and the controls face buttons here are very different from any other ANBERNIC device. I think I've never used any of these controls elsewhere before. So you'll find that. Oh, GT, thank you for that message. These buttons are brand new. Like, I've not used these buttons anywhere, and to be honest, I find it if I've not seen that many other reviews, but the buttons, I think it's a bit hard to compare. Like, if people are saying, oh, these buttons feel like this handheld or the other handheld, I kind of think it's a bit slightly misleading, because these buttons and this D-pad feel completely different to me from anything else. The closest thing I can kind of compare it to is these two handhelds right here. So the D-pad maybe feels like here's another one actually. Okay, we're gonna go into a deep dive about the D-pad feeling. So the D-pad feels like these guys here, in like kind of. So if you have any of these devices here, I'm just talking about the D-pad here, Valg, and Wincian. Sorry if I said your name wrong. I'll talk about the build quality in just a moment. But in the stream we're going to go really slow, okay? And I've got plenty of time, so don't worry about it. And also I'll do another stream afterwards as well, after I've had my dinner. so don't worry at all. The closest thing, like if you have a Vita lying around, or a Retroid Pocket 3 or Retroid Pocket 4, with the Dome Switch, the Dome Switch D-pad, or a TrimUI Smart, I'd guess the TrimUI Smart might be the closest in terms of feeling, but it's still different. Or TrimUI, even the TrimUI Smart Pro, TrimUI Smart, because they use the same D-pad. Like, it kind of feels like that, but it doesn't move around much at all. So it's with the D-pad, right? It's quite there's a very slight bit of like movement in terms of like the size of the hole. It's like maybe 0.5 millimeter, like just right for the D-pad. And I don't know how they did this actually, because if it was like, the tolerance in the factory must be really good, right? Because if they made it, you know, if it was just off by 0.5 millimeter, right, this D-pad would feel wrong. Like it would be, you know, grinding against the case, like we got with we used to get that with all the handhelds, right? And this one, it doesn't feel like you're grinding against the case when you're using it at all. It's quite Like it's very, very precise, and I really like that actually. I think that, you know, that sort of speaks to how good the craftsmanship and the how well they did in the factory, because you know, it's not like these where the D-pad kind of moves everywhere. Like the D-pad feels very, you know, a bit like it's got, like, you know, it's gonna it's almost like really floating around inside the hole. Same with this one. Like kind of, you know, there's a big gap. You know, if you move that there, right, there's a kind of a big gap in the hole and the D-pad don't match. With this one, it's a bit. This one they went a bit the other way, right? Because it's very tight, and you can kind of feel that tightness against the shell. Whoops. Sorry about that. You can feel the tightness against the shell on this one. Like it doesn't move. It doesn't move enough compared to these other ones. Sorry for the out of focus stuff, but yeah, this is like the feeling of the click is kind of like this, but it's not as it's way less. It's not tight like this. And sorry if I'm, you know, if that's a little bit too rambly or you know, not quite. I'm gonna keep talking about this D-pad, right? Because with these you have a, you know, a way bigger gap and it moves around a lot. But they're all dome switches. In terms of fatiguing, and you know, like I know some of the other reviews are saying, is this a fatiguing D-pad? Right, for me, I remember the GBSP was a little bit fatiguing as well back in the day. I don't remember, maybe my hands were smaller when I was playing that. To be honest, I do feel a little bit of fatigue in my thumb. Like I need to, you know, because I'm pressing a bit harder because of the switches. But to be honest, it's not like, it's not a deal breaker for me. Like it's, you know, obviously if I'm playing on a handheld a long time, it's, you know, I'm going to feel something out. But I just feel like you just get used to it. It's not like, you know, it's not going to cause me to say, okay, this is a bad handheld, and I don't want to play it, and I'm going to play something else. I feel like the D-pad, you know, even though it's stiff, a little bit stiff, a little bit firm to use, you know, after I wear it in, I think I'm good. I think I'll be good. And it's kind of how should I say it? It's a bit like, I feel like it's the best type of D-pad for me, of this type of D-pad, because I think Winston, sorry, I keep saying your name wrong, right? But you're asking me what console has the best D-pad for me. The best D-pad for me is, in my opinion, the best D-pad is the Neo Pocket Air. I think I really like this D-pad. The only thing I would say is like it makes a bit of a sound, but that's like a really small thing, right? I really like this D-pad because the size, the feeling of it. I really like the Neo D-pads. I also like the Vita D-pad. I also like the Vita D-pad as well, but I generally don't like dome switches. So another D-pad I really like is this one, the RG405V. I really like this D-pad, and they actually brought this D-pad over to the Plus, so I like this one as well. I generally like the this type of D-pad, but I can't compare. You know, I can't say, Lucas Storm, what handheld don't I have? There's a lot of handhelds I don't have, but I mean, if you're new to the channel, Lucas, I have a lot of handhelds. Okay, I have a lot. Like, so here's another one, right? This D-pad is okay. Like I don't even know why I brought this on, but this is a Game Force S. Anyway, sorry, Lucas. Yeah, if you're interested in what handhelds I have, you can look at the channel, because I've got videos on all of them in the live section. So for me, right, all of these are membrane D-pads anyway. They're membrane D-pads. So for me to say, you know, is it better or whatever, then it's a bit hard, right, for me to say, because generally I like those other membrane conductive rubber style more. But to be honest, I think this is the best. This might be the best one, because the Odin 2 one is too small. it's it's DOM switch again. It's like this. I think this is too small, this D-pad. I just think it's too small, and it's accurate and it works, but it's just like it's going for the Vita style, right? Again, Vita style. Trim UI Smart Pro is going for the Vita style again, and then Odin 2. Where's my Odin 2? Anyway, the Odin 2 is in the box, right? The Odin 2 again, it's going for the Vita style. This D-pad is going for the GBA SP style, for sure. Like they thought, okay, how best do we make this device a GBA SP clone? Like they're not going for a D-pad which has been done before. So I really, I kind of can't compare it to anything else other than a GBA SP. All right, I'm going on a bit. So, okay, yes, it's asking about the general hand comfort compared to something like the Miu Mini Plus. So I have a Miu Mini Plus here, so we'll talk about that in a moment. How's the build quality? Yeah, build quality. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next, actually. Oliver Mirez, yeah. If you want to know more, if you want me to compare it a bit more to the Trim UI Smart Pro, yeah, I can do that. Val G, thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll hope you can watch it later. Okay, Neo Geo Pocket Stick. I don't remember what the Neo Geo Pocket looks like, I'm afraid. So, right. So, how's the build quality? Let's talk about the build quality a little bit. So, I've talked about the D-pad here. We'll need to talk about the other stuff, but we'll talk about the build quality because there was a question in the chat. So, I was just talking about the flip. So, that's part of the build quality, but I think you can rewind a bit for that one. So, I'm saying the flip is it's very smooth from here to here. But when you hit that angle, so it has a built-in angle where it just sort of locks in, right? You can hear some creaking. There's a little bit of creaking on the flip itself. So I'm not it's not a big deal, but there is a bit of creaking. If you if you're sensitive to that, then it's that's something about that's just something that's there, right? But apart from that, the build quality in general, I think, is quite good. So the battery door isn't flopping around. The triggers do rattle, so that's something which someone asked about actually. There is a bit of a rattle on these, and that's because of the triggers. So if I just hold on to the triggers, like nothing else is really rattling. The rattle is a bit more severe on my 28XX. So I got my maracas yet. To me, the 28XX, the 28XX, that's right. This one rattles more. Actually, the Plus even rattles as well. And I've heard that what somebody did is they were able to put like a bit of sponge inside this button, and it wouldn't rattle around as much. So yeah, if that bothers you, it's possible to mod that out. If it really bothers you that it rattles. To me, it's not a big deal. To me, it's fine. I will talk about the build quality in terms of the shell quality. So the silver I've got here, right? Trim UI Smart Pro 0 rattle. I mean, I can hear it does rattle a bit. I can hear the battery moving around inside. To be honest, I've not shook the Trim UI Spark before. Okay, Jan, with a quick question, I can address that one. So, why does the silver version have a black and grey bezel, right? So, as far as I know, the silver has a black bezel, and the retro grey one has a grey bezel. So, you might be seeing two different. Handhelds. Maybe they mixed it up, because I've seen in the ANBERNIC trailer, they actually, like, the guy's playing on a silver one, and then he has another one in the background, and they both look like the camera's a bit off, so they both look the same. But actually, I think he has the retro one in the background. So the retro grey one is the only one with the white or the retro style bezel. I think you're talking about this style bezel, right? Where the instead of having black around the screen, it's this color. Yeah, the retro one only has this. Jan C asks again. Okay, so this one is called the retro version, the retro grey or DMG Game Boy DMG version. or NES version, the grey, only the grey version has the bezel like this. So I don't have the grey version, unfortunately. The silver one has the black bezel, the fully black bezel, right? So that's a quick question. The grey version, there's a retro grey and there's a silver, so there's two different colours. Right, in terms of, okay, let's come back to the build quality. Right, so I've talked about the battery door, I've talked about the flip, and I've talked about the rattle. This is all, yeah, this stuff for me is generally fine. No, it's not really a deal breaker or anything. I think it's okay in terms of those things. There's no actual, yeah, there's no real like deal breakers for me at all. I would say that if you get the silver one, I feel like, you know, these in some of these joins here, I feel like there's a little bit of a I don't know, it's like a 0.5 of a millimeter, just like a little bit sharp. Like I do see some little really tiny marks in the shell where the plastic isn't quite, you know, it's a little bit I don't know, it hasn't been filed off or something like that. So you can see them a little bit where the buttons join. You can see them a little bit on the corners, like near here. Like I don't know if they've had to do that because of the, you know, the plug or something, or the connectors, to make sure they all line up. But there's just a little, you know, it's like a very, very small, like not 0.1 of a millimeter, just slightly, just a slight bit of roughness. I think 99% of people, they're not really going to notice this. And maybe on the silver version you can see a bit more, but yeah, it's just a bit, yeah, it's just a little bit off. Like it's very, very slightly off. If you're, you know, if you're pedantic like me, you'll probably see it. But I think generally 99% of people won't see this. Another thing is you want to watch out for these. Maybe these little, so you have these little caps here. Make sure these are firmly in, because I've seen on this one, like maybe it's like a millimeter out, because they're like little plugs, and you plug it, they get plugged in at the factory, right? So I've seen these, they're just like maybe a little bit a millimeter out, so they might need to be pushed in or something like that, or they haven't been pushed in at the factory. Okay, the power button LEDs. Okay, I mean this is all fine here. This is all fine. Yeah, but I'm just talking about the build quality here. I mean Robin Lee A. So I think it's not suspect, right? But I'm being very, very critical here. Like in terms of the joins and things, I think it's still very, very good. And maybe in the pictures it looks cheap, but when you see it in real life, it's actually really, really good in terms of how close they got the silver color to a real one, a real GBA-SP. I think it's really, you know, it's like 99%, 95% there. I think it's really, really good. It's just there's a very, very slight bit of finish which is not here on the silver version, which I just thought I'd bring the attention to. But apart from that, it's really good. Kind of lazy is saying I need to zoom out a bit. It's a long boy. Yeah, I'm zooming out as much as I can. I'll be playing it like this a bit later. So yeah, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so I've talked about the build quality. I'll talk about the buttons here, or the ports that you have. So you've got your L1, your R1, and then the two buttons here, the L2, R2. You've got a USB here for charging and for USB hub, or even for like network, if you need to use like an Ethernet cable or something, or this kind of stuff. This USB you can use for anything. And you've got a mini HDMI cable port here. On the left side you have your volume button up and down. And then on the right side you have the two power LEDs, so it's a power on, and then you have a red LED or orange LED for charging, and then you have the power button here, and then you have a reset button here. On the bottom you have a 3.5mm headphone jack. So I've not actually tried this headphone jack yet, but for me, on all of the H700 devices, so the other ones that I have here, the headphone jack on this device is generally very, very good, or this motherboard style, because I've tried some headphone jacks on different systems that use different chips, and sometimes they're a bit crackly, but I'm pretty confident that with the H700 CPU devices, it's good. Should be very good. It's very clear. Like you plug in and you don't hear any crackling. Some other devices you plug in and then there's like all this interference and noise. But I think this one will be good. I'm confident this one will be good because they've got it right on all the previous devices using the same chip. You've got your TF1 internal, TF1 OS operating system card, and then you've got your TF2, which is for your games usually. Right, and if you buy the $59 one, you just get one SD card, which is 64 gigabytes. I believe you get about 5,000 games with that. And then if you buy the more expensive one, it comes with both cards. So you get the 64 plus, I believe it's 128, or maybe, I think it's 128 these days. Let me just check. That option is a little bit more expensive, the 64 plus 128, but I believe you get another 10,000 games or something like this. So we'll go through what that means in terms of what games are you getting or what systems you're getting in a moment. All right, let me come back to the chat here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's all the ports and that's all the features around the edge. And then I briefly talked about it earlier, but you do have a screw here, just a normal standard Phillips screw. You can just unscrew that, and then you'll see the battery underneath, which is 3,300 milliamps. It should be good for about 9 hours of PS1, according to some other channels. So I think that 9-10 hours of PS1 gameplay is actually really good. But we'll see how that is. I think it's pretty good actually. And then the battery will be here, and then it comes out, and then there's a little cable here which you unplug. So maybe I'll do that later, but I won't do it right now. Okay, for me, I've done some testing on the standby. So when I say standby, I mean like I'm playing a game and I've just done this, like I've closed it and I've just left it there. So I did the test and I went from 78% to 46% in 9 hours. So that's it's around 3.5 to 4% per hour in terms of standby. If you just leave it like this and then just drop it and then go away for an hour, you'll lose about between 3.5 and 4% battery if you leave it on the standby and you don't turn it off. So for me, that's probably okay if you're leaving it, for like an hour or two, and you're going to use it later. But if you're going to leave it, in standby for a long time, then make sure that you shut it down. You save your game and then shut down, because after a couple of hours it starts to really eat into the battery. So that's how the standby works. Arthur Off, welcome to the stream. Hello, welcome back. All right, and then let's talk about these buttons inside here then. So we have the menu button here, which is recessed and it's a smaller button. They're all they're all switches or dome switch style. So these start and select buttons are a little bit harder to press in terms of pressure. So you need to be a bit more firm with them. The menu button, the menu button is easy to press. It's a dome switch. They're all dome switches. The face buttons, they're the same sort of pressure that you need to press the D-pad, I think. So I think that they don't come off that much out of the shell. Let's just try and get that here. Okay, there you go. They don't come up that far up, but I feel pretty good about them being very close to the very close to the original GBSP. Like they're not rubberized. They're dome switches, and they feel good. They feel good. I've not had any input issues, but I'll talk about the ergonomics in just a moment. So that's that's all that in terms of that's all the stuff in terms of controls or what's on the device. Okay, right. So let me talk about the. Actually, I'll talk about more about the controls when I'm playing games. So I'll interject with some comments about the controls in there as well. All right. So what else? Oh, okay, so a quick mention about the screen protector. So in the box, you get a... Andrew38, welcome back to the stream. Okay, Remo Retro Game asking for PSP games, so yeah, we'll get onto that. So in the box, you get this screen protector, and this screen protector is actually really good because it fits exactly in the slot. So the screen is like... The screen isn't exactly, you know, flush with the case, and it's got an indentation for the screen protector. So the screen protector is actually perfectly matched to the, like, it's so perfectly matched that it's kind of sucked into the indentation. So that's really good actually, because there's some screen protectors out there, they don't fit properly, but that one fits exactly, and it doesn't give you a, you know, like an odd border. It's like inset in there. So I just thought I'd mention that. That part is pretty good actually. I was I was quite impressed by the sort of level of engineering that they got both parts completely correct. All right, let's come back to this guy. Let's finally get into some games then, and I'll talk more about the ergonomics and controls as we go along. For me, it's easy to hold the device. Like, I don't have any issues. I did mention that it is slightly fatiguing, or not. I don't know about fatiguing, but it's, you know, I do feel that I'm playing a device, you know, in this style, and I feel that my thumbs move around a bit more, or my thumbs are, you know, my thumbs are doing something different. But I think it's just a case of getting used to the device, really. Right, so there was a question earlier from Robin. Can it play games as good as the other handheld devices? Right, so if you're not familiar with the H700 chip that is in this device, it can play up to Dreamcast and N64, and we'll get into that in a moment. So we'll put on a... so what I'm going to do is... so yeah, what's quite cool about this operating system... you can use RA game and then you can select between the two cards. So I've got ANBERNIC games on the 01 or the TF1 slot, and then I've got my games on the 02 slot. So I've already preloaded all my games on here. Let's just give this a little dust off. And then we'll play a PS... Yeah, maybe we'll play a PSP game first. Oh, no, we'll play a PS game first. Let's play a Dreamcast game first. Okay, a question from Paul Y. Does it come with a branded SD card? Yes, it does. It comes with a Coexia SD card, and Coexia... I've forgotten how to say that, but that brand is used to be Toshiba. Basically, Toshiba got sold to someone else, and it does come with that. It comes with that branded card, so it's one of those blue ones. I don't have one lying around, but it does come with a branded SD card. Yes. Okay, let's try and play something. Let's play. What's it? Let's play a Dreamcast game. To start, let's play Power Stone. Maybe. Let's play it. Yeah, let's play Power Stone. Okay, it's taken us a while to get to the to the game, but that's how we do it here. Okay. Oh, it does have a mono speaker, by the way. So same as the Dreamcast, as the the Dreamcast, same as the Game Boy Advance SP. It has a mono speaker. So I've put the FPS in the corner up here, so you can see how well it's running. Obviously, the closer it is to 60, the more yeah, the better it is. Okay, this game seems to be running fine in the menu so far. Whoa, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, so anything... I Actually, this is looking pretty sharp already. I think anything on this level will be running decently, like maybe 50, between 45 and 60 FPS full speed. This game, oh, I hope this game actually controls okay. This game might need an analog stick. Okay, that's good. I was afraid that this game might need the analog stick. So I'm not sure if you can hear the D-pad, but the D-pad does click when you're using it, because obviously it's a dome switch. Oh, I'm gonna get smashed here. Whoa, I just dodged that. Okay, that's good. Let's get the power stones. Okay, let's get the power stones. Okay, we've got a request from Jan to play some Street Fighter. Yes, I will play some Street Fighter. I love this. I love that game. Oh no, gonna lose the power stones again. Oh, just escaped it. So I feel like with this device I'll be moving around a bit much. Oh, I got KO'd. Right, so I don't know if you saw the FPS, but you can see it's generally between like 45, 50. It's very playable, this game. I'm not of any... You know, I actually didn't notice that it was running like slightly below full speed. Okay, there's my power stone. Zodiac Curse 2 asking for Rumble Rose's PS2. So unfortunately, this device, as you know, won't play PS2 games. I want to fix that game actually. I never figured out how to fix it. Whoa. I'm gonna get KO'd again, I think. Yeah. Alright, Jan C asked for some Street Fighter, so I will play Street Fighter Alpha, or Street Fighter 03 I'll play. So to quit the games, you can press menu and I think it's start, but I usually just press menu and then use the RetroArch menu to quit it. So I'll put on some Street Fighter. Hopefully I have it. Yeah, Street Fighter Alpha 3. This is my favourite Street Fighter game generally. Yeah, this is definitely my favourite, my go-to Street Fighter game. Okay, so the speaker actually gets pretty loud. So I had it on 66%, I think, but like at 100%, it's pretty loud. It's not too. There's not much bass in it, but it's quite good. It's okay. I'd say it's as good as the other ones, as other devices, if not slightly better in terms of clarity. So I'm not having any. I don't see any big problems with like the clarity of the sound or anything like that. It is a mono speaker though. I think the H is the only one. The H is the only one with the stereo speakers. Okay, let's go. Oh. So you can hear those like clicky start and select buttons. Kinda lazy asking for Tony Hawk. Okay. I think I have some Tony Hawk on multiple systems like Game Boy and PS1 as well. Okay, I need to... Oh. I need to reconfigure my buttons, I think. Let me just make sure... Oh, wrong one. Okay. I'm always doing this in these games. Okay, that's good. The Game Boy Advance one. The Game Boy Advance Tony Hawk. That was pretty good, that game. Okay, I can pretty reliably do the super combo. Yeah, not much issue. Okay, I'm a bit surprised that we're not getting full speed in this game actually, on the Dreamcast version. I think if you want to get full speed, you can play the arcade version, but the Dreamcast version is just off. The PSP version might also be a good candidate to get full speed. Okay, so I'm having a bit of difficulty doing the Hadouken on the left side. Like, I need to really dig into the D-pad to make sure I get it, but it's not bad. Okay, I can do this move relatively easily. If you know the command input for that move, it's jab jab, forward, light kick, strong punch to do that super move, and that was pretty easy to do. Okay, I feel like with the D-pad you need to dig in a bit more on the diagonal and the right hand side than the other ones. For example, like this one, you can kind of let it just come across and it's quite easy to do. This one, you need a little bit more effort to get to the, like, you just need to dig in a little bit and make sure you get like the last input of the command. I don't think it takes too much, you know, you don't need to change your form that much to get into it. I think it's something that you'll get used to as well, this D-pad. Okay, so we had a request for Tony Hawk's on Game Boy. So let's come to Tony Hawk. Where is Tony? Tony's here. So we've got a variety of Tonys. I'll go for 2 because that's the... I'll go for 2. That's the one that I remember playing on Game Boy. So I've actually here's something that I might say. So I've turned the bezels off. So you can have the bezels on by default. If you have the display bezel on, you'll have a little Game Boy Advance SP logo in the bottom. Let me just quickly show that actually. So you can see in the in bezels off, the game was just showing in the middle of the screen. If you want to turn the bezels on, or change turn it off, which is how I did it here, you can go over to the App Center, and then you can go down to Apps, select the default one, and the bezels are here. So I've turned them off, so it says bezels off. If I want to turn them back on, you just load into this app and you say you want auto here. Yeah. JH on lo-fi. I'm really I would be really surprised if they release a flip, because I think there was another company trying to do so I'll just load up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 again for GBA, and you'll see that bezel. Yeah, you can see it here. So if you, yeah, I mean, if you've been following the flip saga, only ANBERNIC's been able to do a flip, which is kind of crazy. Because there was another company who's trying to do one, and they just cancelled their product. And then Miu, you know, they're leaking some, they're leaking some documents or some, is it some patents or something? But I don't know if they've actually been successful in doing it. So it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit of a question mark if they can actually do it. Okay, let's go for career mode. So this game's going to use all of the controls on the top as well, I think. Yep. So if you're buying this device for Game Boy Advance nostalgia, I think that this is an excellent. Like all of the Game Boy games are going to play really well. Dreamcast we were playing before, you know, it's kind of the high end of what you're going to play. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. I'll tell you some of the sort of. I'll tell you some of the like enhancements I've done as well, because there's a few little tweaks you can do to make the. Am I pressing the wrong button? Oh yeah. I was pressing the. I thought I was pressing the jump button. Like I've made the screen look a bit more like Game Boy Advance, and I can show you what I've done to do that. So I got these tips from Discord. A user was telling me like how to do this, and I think it's pretty cool. The look of the screen matches what the Game Boy looks like. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll let you know in a moment. Okay. It's got like a blur on it, like a little LCD blur, which is not like it's simulated, which is quite cool. And it makes it look a bit more authentic. Because if you don't have these shaders on, then everything looks very sharp, and that's fine, you know, if you like that kind of look. But I think it looks really, really good with this GBA like shader simulation, and I think it's really nice actually, because it's kind of like, you know, you're getting that nostalgic look for sure. Okay, I'm actually not very good at this one. I'm better at the Dreamcast and the PS1 version of this game. $8K game. We're not at 8K, but we're at. I've blown up the screen, so I've blown up the the game, so it's filling the screen. But I really like what they've done with these bezels, because these bezels, they look really sharp. They just look amazing actually. Something I don't like is they've put like a little bit of a border around it, like a transparent border, just to simulate like the edge of a Game Boy. And if it was me, I would maybe take that out, because they've just darkened it a little bit. But I really do like this logo because it looks cool. The Game Boy bezel is awesome. Yeah, really nice. I'll just show you what I've done in terms of getting the Game Boy Advance look. So when you can press the menu button, and you can come down to core options, and then come down to video, and then this option here I found out about on Discord. So what it will do is it will blend the frames and make it look like there's some ghosting. So it's not like real ghosting, because obviously this panel is a modern panel, and it's much better than the original Game Boy one. But this one, it gives you that sort of authentic look. And I really like that. And there's something else which I did in the shaders section. Oh, actually I didn't have it on. So I can, I will put on, there's a shader which was recommended to me. I think it was called, what the hell was it called now? Was it called like Simple or something? It was called something weird. Let me just find this shader, because it was quite a good one. Because it made all the text look good. Because sometimes the text doesn't exactly. Is it here? Sometimes the text isn't perfect, and I feel like the text. Oh, where was it? I thought it was on before, because Okay, let me just give me a moment. I'll look through these shaders. Because I'm... bloody hell, where is it? It was called like simple... Where is it? It was called like bilinear simple something. I need to find it. There's all these Chinese ones. Borders, no. Cell, no. Oh, I gotta find this, man. I gotta find this now. Was it handheld shader? No, it wasn't. Oh, yeah, here it is. Right. So under interpolation, sharp bilinear simple is a good shader to use. So let's apply that one. Because what it does is it just smooths out the text a little bit. It just smooths everything out a little bit. It's because we're using like a slightly blown up image. The shader just smooths everything off a bit and just makes it a little bit more crisper, and I really like that. Zodiac Curse 12, right? So the thing is about this screen, right? It's not. I mean, it's not an Android device, right? So I don't need to wipe it as much. But also, like, it's just. I don't know, but it does. It just stays clean. It just stays. I mean, I have my cloth ready just in case, but it stays clean. Zodiac Curse 12. So everything's good there. So we'll get out of Tony Hawk's, and I'll play another Game Boy game. I'll play some F-Zero. This is another classic Game Boy game. F-Zero. I was playing it before actually. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be going into the Game Boy section. Sophie Yang, welcome to the stream. JH, I haven't applied the screen protector yet, but as I was saying, it's a perfect fit. It's really well placed, or really well crafted, as it were, because it just fits exactly there. It's quite nice actually. Fallout Spring 77, I was just playing 2 Dreamcast games just slightly earlier. I can come back to Dreamcast after this. Oh, my. ANBERNIC DS. There might be something coming. We don't know. There might be something coming. I don't know if they'll do a DS, but they'll do something that is more DS focused. Oh crap! That's not a real shortcut. Okay, I'm not sure if it's picking up, but there is a little bit of a, there's some sound, there's some click when you do press the buttons. But yeah, it's mainly, it's a very authentic feel. It's not, I don't think it's overdone, like, because they could have made it, so there could be some, problem with it where, it's too tight. But I feel like the amount of pressure is actually correct, because it's really reminiscent of the original Game Boy Advance SP. It's really nice. Like, to me, it's not overly done, like in terms of being hard to press. It's quite good. And okay, we're back. Yeah. Yeah, let's go. Okay. That's okay though, because we're about to start a Dreamcast game, so that should be okay. All right. Let's. Is there a colourful game? What's the colourful game? House of the Dead 2. Oh, actually, let's play. Where is it? What is it? Death something. Death Crimson OX. I never played this game on stream. All right, it should be. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, don't tell me it happened again. Oh no, we're good. I got disconnected from YouTube. Got disconnected from YouTube. Okay, good. Good. Okay, so here's a Dreamcast game. It should be pushing the device a bit more. Whoa. Do not remove the memory card from its current socket. Okay, so like you can feel it a little bit, like it's warming up a little bit, but not. It's not overly. Like it's not annoying. Okay, this game is just a general like shooter, so it should be. Oh, what's that? Okay, my brightness is on max. This game's a bit dark. Alright. Okay, here we go. Whoa, bloody hell. Whoa. The old hostage. Oh. Oh no. Okay. Hostage runs out in front of you. Oh man. Oh, there's no speech. Oh, I shot the lady. Oh, skeletons. Oh, bloody hell. Like a rocket came at me. So this game's working perfectly. 60 FPS. Oh, what? Oh man. Oh. Okay, I'll get to the chat. Do I think the chip being under the battery is going to be an issue in the long run? So let's investigate that a little bit actually. So I think the battery life of Dreamcast games will be a little bit lower than PS1, but not that much lower. I heard that I've heard before that this device can get like I know that this device can get like 9 hours of PS1, so it's that's pretty good. So I think this device, it's actually got a bigger battery in it. So that will do slightly better. Right, so let's do a little bit of a teardown to break things up. Android 38. Yeah, they're pretty cool. So I'm going to shut down the device. See you later, ANBERNIC says. And let's investigate the battery then. So I have a screwdriver here. Apologize in Flores, I haven't done the video playback test, but I have loaded some videos on. We can do that after we come back from the battery. So let's do a mini teardown. So all you need is a screwdriver like this, Phillips or crosshead. It's quite a long screw actually that comes out, but yeah. It's just that, and then you poke this a bit. Actually, try to. Okay, I don't do this without breaking it. Okay, maybe I just poke this hole. Okay, yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and then there's the battery cover. So what I'll do now, so I don't explode this battery, just get a little plastic. Just get a little plastic sponger here, so you can get one of these plastic tools. Don't use a screwdriver because you might puncture the battery a bit, but you can just maneuver that battery out like so. And then what you can see, right, is the CPU is actually here, or the chip, the main chip is there, and then I think that's the memory, right? So the battery is definitely above it, like right on top of it, and then you can see here. I'm not sure if you can see well, but it plugs into something here. So if you want to change the battery, let's maybe that angle is better. It's just plugging in here. That's all you need to do. Right. So there's a bit of concern about the battery being close to it, but you can see like there's a little bit of a gap. So it's not I think it's not the end of the world. Maybe I think the suggestion was like someone could put like a copper pad or something, or some kind of something there. But to be honest, I think it's okay. Or maybe you could put a metal plate just in that gap. I think it's okay. Like I don't see any massive issue or it becoming a problem. But that's how the battery goes in. All right, so I'll close it up and then we'll get back. Is it a color box in the upper left hand color or a machine of another color? This is a box. This is the box that I came in here. But yeah, there is a little bit of a surprise later. Yeah, air gap. I mean, I think Saab Gobbler. That's what. Isn't that what ETA Prime was saying? So I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but maybe. I'm not an expert on this. I mean, ANBERNIC's probably the expert, right? So that's how they've left it. Okay, so it's just a case of screwing it back on, and then that's the battery. It's pretty easy to change the battery on it. So hopefully this turns back on. I've not broken anything. Yep. Sophie Yang, can I show the other colours? Maybe later on. Maybe later on. I'm with the silver so far, but maybe there's a surprise later in the stream. Okay, so what was I going to do? Okay, so I think Paul Jason Flores was asking about video playback. So I've got a really short test here. So you can go over to the App Center, and then you can access the video player. Johnny on Flame, are you talking about the battery placement? I'm not sure about the battery placement. I think we didn't. I think some Powkiddy devices are designed like this, right? Where they have the battery on top of the chip. I think that also doesn't the Trim UI Smart have the battery on top of the chip as well, or something like this? I think this one does, right? I think this one does. I've not opened mine up, but I think this one does. Sophie's asking for the black one. What time is it actually? Okay, so I am streaming later on tonight, or later on. We'll finish this stream up in about an hour, and then later on there might be a surprise for Sophie Yang. Okay, so sorry, I was in the video player. I'm in the video player now, and I'm just gonna go into my SD card too. So I have a couple of test videos here. I'm gonna go for Paul Jason Flores. I'm gonna load up the Big Buck Bunny in 720p, but I've had multiple versions of this. It's like a 10-second clip, and I'll play them in ascending order for you. So this is the version which says 1 megabyte, and I think that this one plays fine to me. I don't see any stuttering. Like it's maybe a little bit, maybe a tiny bit. This is the 2 megabyte version. Okay, there's no sound in these videos, but yeah, it seems fine to me. This is the 5 megabyte version. Okay, this is the. Let's just go straight to the 30 megabyte version, because I'll be here all day. So the 30 megabyte version, I see a little bit of stuttering actually. If you watch this field, this bit of grass down here, yeah, that's definitely stuttering now. So it actually might depend, Paul Jason Flores, on the size, the bit rate of your files. So if your 720p videos are like high bit rate, it might not work too well. Like if I play let's try and play a lower resolution of it. Okay, so the low resolution 360p with 30 megabyte looks completely fine. So that one was the 360p version, 30 megabytes, and yeah, that one was fine. But I think at 720p it's around 10 or 20 megabytes when it starts stuttering a little bit. Okay, so this is the 20 megabyte version, 720p, and yeah, it's a little bit stutter. So it might be best to go for 480p. The 720p at like 10 megabyte seems to be okay. So that's the thing. Yeah, it was a specific request from Paul Jason Flores. I saw it in Discord, so yeah, that was from him. Okay, so let's get out of the video player. I mean, the video player works, so you can see the video player doing quite well. There's also a music player, but I'm not too interested in that, to be honest. I will show you what that looks like, and then I'll show you the ebook reader as well. So the music player looks like this. It's probably going to play some copyrighted music, but what you can do is you can actually turn off. I think you can turn the brightness down or to the brightness to 0 and lock it if you want to use your device as a music player. If you don't have a phone. What else it actually has as well is an ebook reader. So I've put an ebook here, and you can read Aesop's fables if you want here. There's a page up and page down, and you can go line by line. But what is actually cool about this, right, is I've heard that you can bring this ebook up inside of games. So that's kind of useful for like FAQs. If you've got like you're playing like an RPG or something, and you want to bring the FAQ up like quickly. I've heard that this actually might work, but I can't. So the key command is L2, R2, and down to trigger this, but I actually haven't seen it yet. I've seen it working yet, but apparently this is in the works where you can bring up an ebook during a game. Okay, let's come back to the game testing, and instead of I think there was a PSP request earlier, so we'll try and we'll try and play a PSP game, and I've got I'll play one of theirs. So this is on the ANBERNIC. So you'll get this game when you buy this device, but I'll play something pretty normal, which is Tekken 5. Yeah, Johnny on Flame. I hope your house doesn't burn down. I mean, I have a lot of these devices, and I actually, I actually think I need to turn them off sometimes, because if one blows up, they're all in one box for me. So if one of them blows up, then all of them are gonna blow up. Okay, Fallout Spring is back. Fallout Spring 77 is back here. The joystick or the D-pad, for me, it's quite good. It's good in terms of like how authentic it feels versus the original GBA SP. It's pretty good. Okay, where's my man here actually? Is this a... Okay. Okay, so here we have a PSP game. Hopefully it runs okay. There we go. Oh. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the FPS. Whoa. Oh, I'm at 2 times. Wow. I'm going to bring that down to 1 times. Okay. Oh, it's got frame skip. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. Let's do this. Show FPS counter, show speed, so we can get some details for you guys, and then let's try this PSP game. Okay, so here's a PSP game, and it's running pretty good actually. I know the aspect ratio is a bit off, but it is working quite good. Tekken moves are quite good to do on this D-pad. Decalio, can the PSP switch from D-pad to joystick by pressing the power key? So I'm actually not sure. I need to check this in another game. Because I don't... let me just check it now. So I mean, in this game, I don't know, but let me try a different game. Maybe the game after this. I think it worked. I actually think it worked. Because I pressed it and it didn't like shut off the device or anything. Okay, a little bit of a stutter there. But this game runs quite well. Yeah, you can always connect it to HDMI and then you'll get a good... yeah, you'll get quite a good picture on the TV. Actually, I feel like for Tekken, the D-pad is really good. It's a little bit better than for Street Fighter. You need those like rolling movements, but for Tekken, you can be really accurate on the moves. Yeah, it's pretty good. The D-pad's pretty good. So I can feel the device getting slightly... Oh, it's not even... For PSP, it's fine. There's not much heat at all. Not much heat at all for PSP. You know, those few minutes of playing. So what I'll do, right, is I'll come out of this and I'll try Grand Theft Auto, so I can test D. Calio's query about the switching between the D-pad. So they have Vice City. Is it Vice City Stories? Okay, I'm gonna have to turn the music down on this because that might cause some copyright issues. But here's Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. Okay, I'll have the music down quite low because I don't want to have any issues with YouTube. Alright, can we skip this? Okay. Right. Let's just get into the game, and then I'll see if we can do the changing the controls. So Portmaster is available. Portmaster will be available rather. So here I can't move anywhere. My man is stuck because I think these D-pad actions are mapped to something else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press the power button once, and then hopefully, yeah, okay, so that works. So to answer the question, Decalio, yes, it works. It works great. And then I'll press it again, and then it'll come back to the D-pad. So I guess this is like select weapon or something in GTA Vice City Stories. But yes, that works. I press the power button, and then it switches between the analog stick and the D-pad. It's quite good. So what I'm going to do is we will go to the game settings, and I'll just make sure I got my... Oh, okay, so the settings revert actually. We could probably put... Oh, they're putting like two times resolution. So I'm going to press some of these. I want to put the FPS on again for you guys. Okay, let's get into the... Okay, let me put this... Alright. Okay, oh bloody hell. Sorry, that music... I need to make sure that music doesn't cause me any issues. Okay, that's good. Oh! Oh, okay, so a little bit of FPS loss here. Okay, let's try and get outside. Oh, I thought I crashed into the ambulance. Right, so I think the way, yeah, you want to be playing this on HDMI because the text is a bit small to read, but the game looks good, man. It actually looks good. There was a slight slowdown earlier, but I think we're good. I think we're good now. Oh yeah, so a little 10%. Yeah, a little slowdown here on this this game. You might need a little bit of frame skip, which I just turned off. Okay, let's get out of here. But that's how. So I turned frame skip off just then. But running down here is fine. Yeah. Okay, let's switch to the next game. Johnny on Flame, I'm at stock, yeah. I'm at stock. Yeah, Johnny on Flame, I think all of the all of the handhelds have that. So all of the X series have that switch. So it's useful for the Plus as well. I think that's where it first came in on the Plus and the 28XX. That's where that toggle came in, where you could press the power button and it would switch between analog and D-pad. All right. So Infam is asking, does it run PC Engine? So I'm going to go to PC Engine, and then I've got another question from Fallout Spring 77, and then asking for N64. So we'll also play these two. No problem at all. So I'm going to go to... So let me just check if... Okay, so on ANBERNIC's SD card, they do include some PC Engine games. They include 328 actually, but I'm going to use my own card, which I've got in the slot too, and then we'll play some PC Engine games. So there's a quick tip from Sol Astro there, which sounds pretty good. So you stretch your screen to 0.85, and then you can, you lose a bit of the side, but you get a full screen picture, I'm guessing. So that's quite a good tip from Sol Astro there, where if you're playing on a 4x3 handheld and you're playing 16:9 games, you can use a bit of a screen trick to get a bit more picture. And I think that's for some games that's going to work perfectly, because I think there's even some PSP games that are in 4x3, right? Some of the arcade conversions. Okay, so I have less games than ANBERNIC. All right, this one is for Infamous PC Engine games. So PC Engine, I'll play some Chase HQ. I usually like playing Devil's Crush, is it? The pinball one. But I'll play some Chase HQ today. So they do have the bezels. You can turn these bezels off if you don't like them, but that's how they have them by default. Oh god, yeah, I remember this. I think I've played the arcade version, right? The arcade version. Oh man, this game looks good. Oh, okay, I was pressing. Oh, this game looks great. So Infamous, the answer to your question is yes, it plays PC Engine, and yeah, there's quite a few games available there as well. Oh. Oh, this game's brutal. I don't think I'm going to last very long in this game. Yeah, I think I'm not going to last. Okay, that's terrible. That's terrible. Okay, let me play one more PC Engine game, because that was a terrible effort. Sorry, that was really bad. Let me because is it Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul, or whatever, Paul brothers? Is that this weekend, or that's pretty soon, right? I'll play one of my favorite boxing games, which is Panzer Kickboxing. I really like this, but I'm not good at it, and it's very small, isn't it? So let's just zoom in a bit. Let's play it like this. So I'm in blue, but I'm probably going to lose. Oh, it's Fury versus Oscar. Okay. Okay, that button's kick, I think. Oh, actually, I'm in red. I thought I was the blue guy. Oh, I got to move an uppercut. Oh, my lights are getting knocked out. Alias UX, this is not at max volume. I've got plenty more volume. So the speaker is very loud, actually. The speaker's quite loud. I think this game doesn't have much audio. And the people on the screen are really small. Okay, I'm going to switch over. So that's PC Engine. Works perfectly with PC Engine. You can have no problems at all running PC Engine games on this device. Okay, so we had some requests earlier for N64 game. So we'll try, of course, we'll try. I mean, we'll try the N64 game, which everyone wants to see. So N64, sorry, N64 is going to be a bit hit and miss on this device. Similar to Dreamcast, it probably won't be full speed, but there are some big titles which do work well. Excuse me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this down and have some water. Okay, so the D-pad at the moment I think is acting as a D-pad, so I might have to press this and see. Does it? Oh, wait a minute, does it? Okay. Oh, am I using the wrong... okay. Right, let me just... I'm using Parallel 64, okay. So there's a couple of cores available for N64. A couple of different emulation cores. I'm using the faster one at the moment, but it's more inaccurate. Track and Joy asking for Amiga games. So unfortunately I don't have the Amiga games loaded, but yes, it supports Amiga. I do have some Atari ST games, which I haven't tried yet actually, so maybe I'll play an Atari ST game. Epidia, it's the one with the bee, right? The bumblebee, the side-scrolling shooter. So I feel like this is, the emulation is not perfect here. Yeah, Mario looks a bit, the colour, oh yeah, okay, so yeah. So something's not quite right with the emulation here. So in this case what you would do is you'd quit out of the game. And then, I think I might have done this before on stream before, but you'd quit out of the game, and then if you see some issues, with your N64 game, what you can do is, before you start it, you can press Y here, and then change to another simulator core. So a simulator core is basically some kind of method of emulating the system, and sometimes you'll have multiple options here. So this, in the case of N64, the top option is it's faster, but generally the emulation is not as accurate. So maybe you'll get some graphical glitches. And then for N64, the second one here that I have, Mupen 64 Plus, it's a more accurate graphical representation of the N64, but it might run a little bit slower. So what we'll do is we'll activate the second one, because I saw some issues with Mario's face and some of the lighting was flashing, and then we'll try the game again. Okay, Track and Joy, is the temperature okay? So for me, the temperature of the silver one is fine. I don't see any issues. We've been playing like Dreamcast, PSP, and N64 now, and I feel like the device is fine. Okay, so we're coming to almost the end of this stream, but I do have a surprise at the end, because I actually have another version of this one, of this handheld. So I can do the second stream later on with the other handheld that I have. So it was going to be a surprise, but yeah, we'll find out. We will find out. Because we've had two people asking, I think now, can they see the transparent one? So I'll talk about that when after we play a bit of Mario 64. Wastia and Jared Brad, thanks for joining. Thanks for coming back. Okay, so again, my D-pad is doing nothing, so I need to press the power button, and then it will switch the functionality to the analog stick, which is super useful with these devices, with no analog sticks. So I have control of Mario now, and as you can see, the game is running much more accurately in terms of the graphics with the other simulator core that we set up. And I'm also at full volume as well, to give you an idea of how loud the speaker is. I'm about let's say I'm about 20 centimeters away from the device, so the sound that you're getting from the microphone and the speaker is about 20 centimeters away. Yeah, JH on lo-fi. I mean, you know, these guys, they can only fit so much in a review, right? So they might not, you know, they might not get everything. So that's the point of these streams, really. It's like, you know, these streams I can go on for like hours, right? And I find out, you know, these devices are really complicated devices, and you tend to find out things, you know, maybe like a couple of hours after using it. So yeah, that's why we do these streams, to get in, you know, get really into what this device is. So I think Mario 64 is one of the easier games to run. You know, maybe if we try and GoldenEye or something, it's going to be you know, a bit harder. It won't work as well. I'm pretty sure GoldenEye actually will be a bit of a fail. But this game, at least, you know, there's going to be a select few N64 games which are going to work great on the RG35XXSP. Oh, okay. Paul Jason Flores asking me about the sticker. So I actually don't know how to do that yet, because I haven't opened the box. But let's have a look, you know, in the next stream. Oh, I got blasted. Okay, so I feel like obviously the analog control is a big help, you know, in this game, because sometimes you need Mario to walk slowly. So it's not ideal, but you know, at least you can play the game. It's kind of playable, you know, with the D-pad acting as an analog stick. Because he's always going to be running at full speed, right? Oh no, I'm going to get blown up. Oh, okay, that was close. Okay, I might even have difficulty at this game, because I think that this game, you know, obviously plays better with the analog stick. So let's see when I get to this this harder section. I need to make sure I'm really walking good. Okay, okay. Yeah, so some of these sections will be a bit more difficult, for sure, without the stick. I think I'm good now. I should be good. Yeah, no C-stick for the camera, yeah. I think there might be a way to toggle it, but I don't think there's like an easy one. I feel like one of the emulators, it had like a hold, like you could hold the R2 or something, and then you'd get it, but I don't remember where that was. Like, it would be good if you could hold one of the triggers, like maybe hold L2, and then like hold L2 and then it becomes your C-stick. That would be pretty good. That would be pretty clever if they could do that. The Beep asking about the D-pad. So there were some comments. I've heard the comments about the D-pad being fatiguing, but to be honest, you know, after using it for a bit longer, right? I mean, it's okay. Like, I know some, you know, when you first get the device, it feels different, because it's very different from other devices, right? It's very different from the Plus. It's different from, you know, like a Miu Mini Plus. Again, it's different from RP4 Pro or Vita. It's a different type of D-pad. It's a new type of D-pad which we don't usually get in handhelds. So I can understand why people are saying, you know, it's a bit fatiguing, or they need to adjust to it. But for me, like, after, like, you know, the couple of hours play that I've had, I'm perfectly good with this, because they've gone for the GBA SP feeling, and you know, it really, you know, they've really replicated it well. So if you're familiar with the GBA SP, right, and you know, you like that kind of D-pad, then it's great. I'll also say, like, you know, if you've used a Nintendo, is it 3DS or new 2D? So I have a new 2DS XL. and I feel like that D-pad is very, very loose compared to this one. This one is a very tight D-pad. You know, it's the tolerance is really good. Like, I don't know how they did it at the factory, but I think I was saying this before. The whole the gap that they have for the D-pad, like it's like half a millimeter off the, you know, the hole is like half a millimeter bigger all around the cross, and it feels perfect. Like, it doesn't feel like you're grinding against the side. It feels like there's just enough movement so you can hit those directions accurately. I'll contrast that to the TrimUI Smart, right? So this one feels really tight against the case. So when you press it, you get a little bit of creaking, and it doesn't feel, you know, it doesn't feel good when you. It's okay, but you can feel like it's kind of hitting the case a bit, right? That's the closest I can kind of compare to like, because this one it feels really nice when you when you're playing on it, whereas like TrimUI Smart might be a bit too, it's not grinding against case, but it's almost like that. And then you've got D-pads like this where they move around a lot, right? Because you can see this one, it's shifting around everywhere, isn't it? Because the hole is much bigger. Whereas like with this one, the 35XXSP, they really got the D-pad hole like right. It's really like, it's a very detailed thing, to say, but I feel like this is like a really good. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but the way that they've matched they've machined the case and matched it to the cross, I think it's really good. So Ian, welcome back. Hello, and am I enjoying it? Yes, I'm enjoying this device. I would say that I was going to give some more ergonomic comments as well. So with the ergonomics, I do have to say, right, my favorite out of this series is, in terms of ergonomics, let's just move this box out of the way. Okay, so I mean, I have all of them in the series. I don't have the original or the Plus. Okay, I am the beat. Thank you for that. Thank you for that message. I have most of the series in the Plus, and courtesy of ANBERNIC, they've been really kind to me. So big, a really big shout out to ANBERNIC, because ANBERNIC have sent me all of these devices for free for review, and I really appreciate that. It's excellent support from ANBERNIC. So I really, I really appreciate what ANBERNIC have done for this channel. But I would say, in terms of ergonomics, from the little playtime I've had on the SP, I would still say that the H is slightly better in terms of ergonomics, because you can get your hands really around it, and I still think that the H is the best one. But there is something, it's, having said that, there's like a cool factor with the SP which is unmatched, really, because the SP is it's one of the very few clamshells on the market, and that does this, right. It pauses the game. Mario's sleeping there, and the sound is off, and then you come back, and then Mario's still sleeping, but you're ready to go, right? There's something really, really cool about this device, which you think, okay, so even though the ergonomics might not be the best, like, it's still like, it's super cool to have that functionality. Yeah, I completely agree with what Ian just said. Like, if you've got bigger hands, then it might not be viable for you to use the SP, because I've got kind of average hands. I think I said it before on stream. So my hand is from the tip of my finger to the base of my wrist. It's about 19 centimeters here, and so I think that's kind of average hands, and I have like maybe thin hands. For me, I think I'm good. Like, I don't have any problems gripping this device. I can get to all the buttons. I was playing some fighting games earlier, and I was feeling like I wasn't moving around too much. Actually, I was okay. I was stable, and I feel like the device is not top heavy. which is something I said about this device here. I think this device is the PowerKitty RGB20SX. It's a bit top heavy, and when you get your hands around it, you can instantly feel like, you know, it's some of the weight is here. This device, again, you feel a little bit of weight on the top, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as that other one anyway. But then this one, the Plus, feels a little bit more balanced in terms of classic Game Boy feel. But again, you've got that coolness factor of holding the SP. The SP is like, yeah, it's very, you know, you've got the benefits of having a flip, right? So there's, it's very cool. Okay, let me just catch up the chat here. JH on Lo-Fi, do I prefer more the 353 line or the RG, the 35XX line? Okay, so something I didn't have time for. Just a moment. Yep, something I didn't quite have time for in this was to set up my 35XX. Sorry, 353. What is it? Let me read it. RG353VS. Okay, I didn't have time to set it up with the operating system again. But this device, I do like this one a lot because you've got Rocknicks on it, and you've got the custom firmwares, and you've got a little bit more power as well. So I think you might be able to play some more N64 games on this. But the 35XX series has got really close now to this, and I feel like it's getting more software and more firmware. So actually, I'm kind of starting to like the 35XX series a bit more than the 353, even though the 353 is still good. The big problem with this for me, of this kind of device, is usually the headphone jack is quite poor. So I think every single rock chip device I've tried with the with this CPU in it, I've had a bad headphone jack. Whereas all of these H700 devices, the headphone jack is always perfect. So that's the biggest like thing for me in terms of like the split, which is a bit of a strange one actually, because I guess if you don't use headphones much, it's not a big deal. But yeah, that's just something that always caused me a problem with 353 devices, which is a bit odd to say actually. It's a bit odd, like that would be the sort of differentiation or differentiator. Okay, Ian. Okay, yeah. There's a certain cool factor to it, which is very cool. Yeah. Here's a Mio Mini Plus just for you, just to kind of compare. I was looking at the devices earlier in the stream, so maybe you can rewind to that if you want to look at sort of size comparisons to everything. All right. So yeah, Mario is tired, so let's just wake him back up. Maybe let's try a different game. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's try Mario Kart. I was trying to play Diddy Kong, I think, the other day, and I completely messed that up. What was I trying to play Diddy Kong on? Let's just hit all of the classics in this stream, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching this wondering what this device is. Okay. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I was not pressing A. Okay, so here's another game where the D-pad, it's really the D-pad, and you can press the power button to switch the D-pad to the analog stick. So you need to do that in a lot of these N64 games. Okay, how do I use my... Alright, there we go. Oh, okay. Alright, so there's a little bit of a problem here. So the TV up there doesn't work. That's usually the case in this emulation. So not perfect emulation. And I think there's a line at the bottom of the screen as well. So there's some... N64, you're going to have some emulation problems. I think on this device, on this series, don't expect perfection in terms of N64 and Dreamcast. But you're definitely going to be able to have a reasonably good experience, because I think it's working at a good speed at least, and it's playable, right? But I think don't expect this to be perfect. Okay, it's all good. Oh. Did I just really... yeah, I mean, it's if you haven't watched this channel before, I am not good at driving games. I would class this as a driving a driving game. I mean, the best driving game for me is Ridge Racer, so I'm good at that, but I'm not good at any other driving games. Mario Kart I'm actually not too bad at, but yeah. I'd say Mario Kart I should be good at, but I should certainly not be shooting myself with a green shell. Oh. Decalio, I've not seen any other firmware with that option actually. I've only seen it on the stock, and then there's another firmware called Stock Modified. Oh, I knew that was coming. Oh, I should have just went into him, shouldn't I? Oh, did I get him? Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I did get him! Whoa. That was, yeah, that was pretty cool actually. I got that guy with a green shell at the end. Okay, so again we've got some graphical issues here on the driver's board, or the finishing table. So if you ever see these in N64, like, you might have to change the core, or you might have to do some tweaking. So yeah, the N64 is not going to be perfect on this device, but the speed is good, and the game was playable. It's just that I think you'll get some graphical issues here and there. Alright, let's move on to a different game. So I think, let me just catch up with the chat here. Okay, Gerard Brad, sorry, okay, so you asked your son wanted to see the trigger buttons. So the trigger buttons are like this style. So I have the RG38XX. They kind of modeled it in that sort of style, and it's even got like a very similar gap, so you can differentiate between the L1 and L2. I think that's quite good. So you can move your finger over, and then you can get that. It's a little bit raised, right? So you'll feel the bump, and then that's the L2. I think that's quite clever. So they did that on the RG28XX as well. The trigger buttons are actually easier to press than the 28XX. So the 28XX, I feel like they use a completely different switch. So these are very, very clicky. You can probably hear them. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, you can probably hear that they're very, very clicky on the 28XX. They're more like mouse clicks, whereas on this, they're a bit more like the original Game Boy SP, where they're a bit you know, they don't click as, it's not a high pitched click, and it's a bit more of a softer push. You don't need to put as much pressure down to activate them. And I think I like these much more than the ones that they used on the RG38XX. It could be like a space issue inside. I don't know why they went for these switches, but that's something there. Okay, let me try and see. Let me just check the questions. Okay, so that was your N64 test. I can do a few more different N64 games in a moment. I'm about to go for some food in a second, but I will be coming back. Paul Jason Flores. Oh yeah, you're talking about the sticker. Yeah. So Paul Jason Flores. Actually, the sticker. I was talking to ANBERNIC and I made a little template. Not really a template, but I've got a little measurements guide for that sticker later on. So that will be something. Okay, don't panic. Asking, do I think they will come out with new colors? Okay, I will address that in a moment. I mean, they only have 4 colors available right now. So there's silver, transparent black, transparent blue, and retro. So retro grey is more like this one. So I don't have any of those. I do have one. Actually, I do have one of them, but I'll show you that in a minute. This device is a no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, this device is quite good. This device is very good. My overall impression is that it's a good, like I think it's probably going to be my go-to of the XX series. Like I do like, I still like the H, you know, because it's got the analog sticks. Yeah, I kind of like them all. I kind of like them all, but the H is actually was actually my favorite. But I need to play a bit more with the SP just to get a bit more feel for it. But I do like the SP for just purely the nostalgia factor, because you'll be playing those Game Boy games. Yeah, it's got a big nostalgia. The silver as well. Yeah, that's why I asked for the silver, because the silver is just so cool. And I bet some people are going to get those, you know, tribal stickers, so you can stick, you know, your tribal patterns on and then stick the big tribal logo on it. Yeah, that's quite funny. Oh, what did I do? Okay, so alright, so it's coming up to about 2.5 hours now. When we come back, I will play some, what will I play? I will play some Atari ST games, some Commodore 64 games. There's a lot of systems which I just put on here randomly, which we will go through, some Saturn games maybe. But I don't have time right now because I'm going to go eat something. And then I will come back with another stream later on in a couple of hours. Definitely the handheld of the year contender, yeah, for me as well. What other points have I addressed, or do I need to address? Okay, yeah, I think I've talked about everything on my list, pretty much. So to summarise, yep, screen protector, so I wrote these notes down earlier. Screen protector fixed exactly, so the screen protector that you get in the box. There's a little bit of rattle on the triggers. Yeah, so when you shake it, there is a little bit of a rattle. It's not as bad as some of the other devices, to be honest. So it's a bit less rattle. I wrote down the D-pad is unique. It's hard to compare it to the other devices. So I talked a lot about the D-pad, I think, in this stream. So maybe, yeah, I won't go over that too much. I wrote down the device gets a little warm. So it is a little bit warm on the bottom. And especially when you're playing those higher end systems like Dreamcast and N64, you may feel that a bit more. Or you're using a lot of those shaders and things. You might feel that a little bit. But to me, it's not a deal breaker. Like, it's not going to be causing any, you know, big issues. It's not going to be burning your hands or anything like that. In my notes, I wrote down USB-C to USB-C charging works. So yeah, if you have a USB-C cable, you plug it in the top, and then it's got USB-C on the other side. It will charge at I think it's 7.5 watts. So it's going to work. It's going to work fine. I wrote down the standby. So I talked about that a little bit. So when you do this, so if I'm in a game, let's say I'm in I can't, let's come here to let's just show you a quick example here. Let's say I'm in Super Mario World. This was the test I did. So let's say I'm in Super Mario All Stars. Right. Yeah. So let's say I'm in this situation. I'm you know, playing a game or something, and I just do this. Like, what it does is it shuts off the screen, shuts off the sound, and it pauses the emulation as well. So if you have like a racing game or something, it will, you know, it will pause the timer, and then it will sleep. But in this mode, but the light will still be on, the green light here. You lose about between 3.5 and 4% battery per hour. So you can kind of work that out, because I did a test over 9 hours where I just put Mario All Stars, I closed it, and then I came back after going to bed, and I calculated it lost about between I think it's about 3.55% battery. So it could be like between 3.5 and 4%, let's say, just to be safe, per hour. So that's what the battery is going to be like if you sleep it. So just for your information, like, it's not a perfect sleep, you know, like your phone, but that's how it works. Like, it's okay. I think I wonder, like, maybe they can improve that. You know, because to me it's not like, you know, it does drain the battery a bit. So I would maybe use that. You know, if you I don't know, if you need your hands or something and you're just putting it in your pocket and you quickly need to, you know, pause your game, it you know, it works, right? It works like that. So you can just pause your game quickly, get on the bus or whatever, pay the driver, get on the train, or, you know, free your hand, put it in your pocket, and then, you know, you sit down and then you start playing again. I think it's perfect for these kind of situations. But, you know, if you're gonna do this and then leave it on the table for, you know, like 3 hours or something, you're gonna lose a lot of battery life there. So maybe, you know, in that situation you would, you know, you'd shut down the device. So I think it's good for like short little sleep times when you're you know, you're in the middle of doing something. But I don't think it's good to leave it for a long time, you know, because you're going to lose a lot of battery life. Okay, so and then the last thing I wrote was the triggers are, I think we just talked about it. The triggers are better than the RG28XX in my opinion. You need less pressure to push them. They're a bit easier to press than the RG28XX. These are more like clicks, like high pitched clicks. These are more like, they feel a bit more rubbery actually. Or maybe they've put some, like a pad or something underneath it to soften the press, but I really like these compared to the 28XX. Okay, Richie EB is telling me to get the black model and use the picture thing. Okay, so here's the surprise of the stream. So we'll end this stream in a moment. But just for Richie EB, just for Richie EB, there's something funny is going to happen here. Drum roll, yeah. Here's your surprise, Richie EB. ANBERNIC actually sent me two, so we're gonna unbox this one, and it's actually the black one. So I will be streaming with this one in a couple of hours. So I'll have a break. I'll go eat something, and then we'll just leave this one here. So we'll unbox this one just for Richie B. Right, so yeah, here's the unboxing experience. So let's make sure all that's in focus. Okay, cool. Right, so this is a completely fresh one. I think I might have just charged the battery and that's it, and just messed around a bit. But it's a completely brand new one. So this is how it comes. You got this little pad here. You got your bag. And here's the black one. So the black one obviously is it's transparent. Let's just turn it on. So we'll have a look. So in the box you do get what's going on here? You do get some wipes. You get an instruction card. You get a screen protector down here. As I said, the screen protector fits exactly, so it's really nice. You get a USB-C cable as well. So the box is quite small actually. There's nothing much else in it. Okay. So here's the black one. So the black one, my impressions of it is it's kind of I mean I've not actually used this one. I've just I've actually just got it as well. But the black is it's quite. I feel like it's a little bit lighter in tone because I'm comparing it to the older black one, and it's got like a little bit of a I don't know. It's more like khaki actually. There's a little bit of a green tint to it, I think, because maybe you can see the difference on the camera, right? The RG353VS I have in my left hand is also transparent black, but I feel like the black of the SP RG35XXSP is a bit more like khaki, like a very very dark green. But I mean, I'll leave it up to you. Maybe you can judge it in the stream. I'm not sure if you can see that. Oh, it could be the PCB as well, because the PCB I remember on this one is a bit it's dark, right? But the PCB on this is a bit it's white. Yeah, it is white. Okay. JH on Lo-Fi. For me, I think I don't know. I might have to see, because I really like the silver. Like for nostalgia, the silver one is super nice, super nice. Let's. Okay, what am I doing here? The plastic does feel slightly different, or yeah, it does feel slightly different. It does feel different, the texture. I mean, the silver texture, it looks it's very true to how the GBA SP was. Whereas this one is kind of like a remix. I've never had a transparent GBA SP, so I don't know. Okay, Richie EB, the weight, I believe it's 192 grams in the spec. Actually, let me turn the brightness up on this to make sure everything's on the. So this is a completely fresh one. I've not touched this at all. I've not done anything to it. Yeah. Okay, it's even got some of that stuff on it. I'll just leave this here for you guys to look at. You can ask me if you want me to pick it up. Yeah, Mr. M, I feel like it's a bit more grey than, because the 353 VS, it looks a bit more black. I don't know if that's the if that's like the let's just try and. Okay, I don't know if that's like the PCB, what people were just talking about. Do I love it? It's a bit early. It's a bit early to say if I love it or not, but I think it's good. For sure, it's good. Okay, so Ian is sell you one. Okay, the blue. The blue one, yeah, I didn't like the blue one, so I'm not a big fan of the blue one. The retro grey one, I'm okay with the retro grey one. That's fine. But I kind of already have. I have another retro grey, and then I have the the RG405V. So I didn't want to get another. I didn't want to get another retro device. I wanted something. I wanted this one because this was my first choice. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right, so in a couple of hours, I will go live again. So we're coming to the end of the stream here. Thanks to everyone, especially thanks to Craig Hedge for sending me some coffees. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you to ANBERNIC for sending not one but two RG35XXSPs. It's really excellent from them. I'm very, very happy. Obviously, I'm happy. Yeah, it's brilliant support from ANBERNIC. I will be back in a couple of hours with another stream. So I'll take a rest, and we will. I'll have some food, and yeah, we'll see you in a couple of hours for more game requests and tests. I really hope you enjoyed this stream. Thank you to everyone who sent a message or joined in, and I'll be back very soon. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in a couple of hours. Bye now.